Belize is experiencing the worst period of extreme dry weather in almost 4 decades, and farmers in the north, particularly in the Orange Walk and Corozal districts, are hardest hit by the extended drought. It is anticipated that thousands will be affected by below-average precipitation, which will have a substantial impact on the ecosystem as well as the agriculture of northern Belize, mainly cash crops and livestock production.
This infernal drought, which has so confounded us, the Ministry of Agriculture puts the losses suffered in consequence of the drought currently as being in excess of $50 million.
The effects of the drought have only made worse an already delicate agriculture sector, taking into consideration recent contractions in citrus, the reduction in international sugar prices, and serious challenges faced by both banana and agriculture subsectors. The impact of the weather-related phenomenon directly threatens food security, since agriculture is a mainstay in economic resiliency. That in mind, the Central Bank of Belize, along with the Ministry of Finance and the Ministry of Agriculture, have put together a working group comprising the banking and agricultural sectors to offer emergency relief to farmers.
On September 2nd, we at the Central Bank realized that something had to be done, and done early, for the farmers. Now, the Prime Minister alluded to it, that people think of central bank and bankers, etc., as thinking only about money. Well, that's not in fact so. Actually, the people are at the foremost in everything that we do. And so we realized that there would be a situation in the country whereby people would have loans, need loans, and that we would have to step in to make sure that they could get these facilities and get it at rates that they can afford.
In doing so, certain regulatory requirements on banks and credit unions will be relaxed in order to accommodate financing and refinancing for existing and new borrowers in the agricultural sector. The central bank will then purposely allow lenders to deliver financial relief through the restructuring of loans, reduction of interest rates, and moratoriums on repayments and extended loan maturities.
The agricultural sector is a risky sector. You have droughts, and you have floods, and you have pests, and you have diseases, and everything else. So within the banking sector, this is seen as a high-risk area. So we knew we had to address that. But also it's very important to the banks and to credit unions, the provisioning, because when you provision for a loan, we have three categories. We have the doubtful category and the loss, and of course we start with the substantial category, substantial, doubtful, and loss. And then the banks would have to make some provision that if it's not paid, that will have to come out of their bottom line somewhere down the road. And so, of course, they're very wary about doing provisions, and we understood that.
Approximately 10%, or an estimated $277 million of all loans in the financial system, domestic and international banks, as well as credit unions included, are for agricultural purposes. Sandra Bidran, a career banker who sits on the newly formed working group, explains the effect of the drought on the cost of food.
The cost of food will go up, folks, like it or not. That is going to happen. There is a multiplier effect when you don't have a basic grain like corn. There's also a multiplier effect when the farmers that plant vegetables have been affected. They have their tomatoes on the ground, the sweet peppers on the ground. The new seedlings have died, and the ground is dry, dry, dry. Even if they were given the money and the seed right now, they cannot put it in the ground. So we have to wait for the cycle to swing. And that's why we're very pleased that the central bank has agreed to give us the time to work with the farmers. And we can't go out there and do it as a blanket. We'll have to literally visit each one of our customers.
At present, there are 7,000 registered farmers and roughly 8,000 farms, a majority of which are concentrated in central, western, and northern Belize. The drought emergency response measures to address the issue includes extending the classification period from 12 to 18 months for select agricultural loans in order to stimulate additional credit. The Development Finance Corporation is part of that working group.
Our board has said that they are willing to go up to 24 months in interest. But of course, we have to have that discussion with the central bank because we know the approval is only up to 18 months. We are looking at very subsidized interest rate. If we can get cheaper financing, if we can get it at 1%, the interest rate can be much lower because all we are looking on to add the admin cost of putting a loan on the books, and of course there will be some risk. So it will be at, we don't want to say a rate at this time, but it will be at very subsidized rates because it's in our best interest for these loans to be repaid. If we don't do this now, the investment we have on the ground right now, we will not recover.
Assurance is being given to all stakeholders, especially farmers and ranchers, that government and the central bank will adopt all possible measures to support the agricultural sector during this challenging time. Reporting for News 5, I am Isani Cayetano.